back to our channel. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Nikki and this is Bob. Thank you so much to all of our loyal subscribers and to our new subscribers. We are making one or two changes to our channel, which Bob will go on to explain.
We are indeed. This is a sort of bittersweet moment in that this is one of the last times that we'll be introducing our channel from Resi, our 895 Mary Fisher 895 Offshore. For reasons which I'll go into briefly, we are moving her on to a new owner. That owner, in fact, is one of our fabulous subscribers, so we're really delighted about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is a new era for us. First and foremost, our two wonderful daughters are moving on, finishing university, and one of our main reasons for moving Resi on, therefore, is that we can provide a bit of help to them both as they get established in the working world, and of course, more especially, look for some housing.
So the offshore side of the channel is because we will be doing some in-depth walkthroughs of Jeanneau Powerboats.
And the onshore side is our other acquisition, which is going to be an A-class motorhome, which we're looking forward to bringing you some footage of. Both some walkthrough and of course some of our travels as we get used to our land-based form of travel as opposed to this amazing time that we've had with our Mary Fisher 895 Offshore. For those of you of course that have mentioned on the channel, does it ever rain in Pembrokeshire? Yes it does, because as you'll see behind us, if I spin round, you'll see that it's pretty damp out there today as we bring you this final film from Resi. Pretty damp indeed, so yes, it does rain a fair bit.
So that's another reason for getting a motorhome, because we'd love to go abroad and get some fantastic sun.
Not that you couldn't with a Mary Fisher 895 Offshore, of course, but yes, a bit more to organise, I suspect, if we were to head for Portugal or Spain. A fair bit more. As a summary, incidentally, a number of you did ask and have asked in terms of the sort of long-term data view of this last year. In fact, it's almost exactly a year to date that we've got that we got Resi. So in that time, for those of you that are interested in the data, we have done just over 1,000 nautical miles, and that has worked out at, let me just have a quick look, 2.77 litres per nautical mile on average. And if you're GBP based currency, British pounds currency, that's actually worked out at about £3.33 per nautical mile on average over about 1,000 miles that we've done in this year.
Really, in this episode we'll just be looking back on some recent footage that we did on the Mary Fisher 895.
It was, and in fact it was a few weeks ago. Looking out now, you'd never believe it, but it was a bit like 10 Bados in that we had some very, very warm temperatures. So yes, it's some of the footage that we captured then, which we'll show you today as one of our probably last trips. Who knows, one day though, when the girls are established, we may be back on the water. Incidentally, while I'm on the subject of 895s, for those of you waiting for your 895s, and I know there are a few of you, and those indeed with it, these clips, random clips on the side there that you might look at the flap on the back here and think, why is there another clip there? There's also one up here, there's also one up there. The ones up at the top here, they're obviously for when you've rolled up the rear canopy here, but these side ones are dead handy in that they just allow you to open, if you like, the rear quarter of the boat, and then just roll this first side piece back and clip it in here. And there's a couple of clips. There's another one just here, and you can just drag that one out and fit it into there like that. And it just particularly when, like today, we've got a little bit of wind there, as you can see in the flags over there, It just stops the side of the canopy there flapping around in the wind, holds it back if you've got luggage to get in and out of the boat, and just is quite a useful little bit when you're in and around the berth. Well, that is certainly sunshine coming in the back of the boat. Good morning to you, Nikki.
Good morning.
And where are we off to?
Well, we're going to stay in the estuary today and go down to Wattick. Do a bit of swimming down there, be nice.
Yeah, sounds good. So it of course is, because in the car on the way here it was showing as 26 degrees, which is pretty much a rarity in this part of the UK. 26 degrees. So needless to say, it's time to get these sides up and think about going out. They roll up, as most of you know, and then these straps just hold them in place. They supply you with a little handy place in there to put the straps when you're not using them. Zips down each corner there. There's then a zip just down here to enable that flap to lift over the engines. You can just see the start of the zip there. Shore power cable coming in. We've switched the hot water on, so during the time that it takes us to probably get the boat ready to go, then the water will have heated up enough. That good old 25-litre tank that you saw in our earlier walkthrough. Up and around the cleat there, bit of elastic here, just keeping the flex from dropping in the water, and the cable just taped onto that bit of elastic, which stops it dangling in. Seats obviously in the forward position at the moment, which allows those engines to tilt, and you can see down there actually we haven't been out for about 4 or 5 days, and you can already see just on the bottom of the gear leg there that's dipping in the water a little bit of weed build up, but hopefully as soon as we get going that'll probably be blasted off. So let's carry on getting everything ready down there. And Nikki doing her balancing bit, being careful not to disappear into the marina water to get the sides fixed in position. Don't want an early bath. And there you see the clips there, just clipped in 3 of them across the back there, and then the same on this side, 3 good and sturdy clips. Tighten them up, stow any unused cable, and sides up. And engines down time. Lovely jubbly. Time to give the oil, I think, a quick check before we head on out.
Are you going to do that?
Incidentally, with the once the engines are down and the seat is forward, it gives you a fair bit of room here, treading space on the grippy surface there, to work in between the engines. You remember with the flushing the YAM engines film, if you tilt one at a time, you can then give yourself plenty of room then to work at the back here, and or to get to these to get to the engine covers, get them on and off, to check the oil and your other. Yep, just up to that, almost smack on that second mark there, so absolutely fine. Then the fuel and water separator there is all fine, no sign of excess water. These bits are good to keep some grease on for the catches, for your engine hatches, to keep all these well lubricated up. But everything else, all other levels are good. Just before we tilted the engines down as well, did a quick visual check of the split pins and that holding the prop in. Another thing that our good old instructor told us to look out for. on pre-running checks is to just make sure that split pin is still intact, no signs of wear. And with the seat now back, just gives us a chance now to fill in the infill cushions there and get the in fact definitely get the sun deck on today. Of course, you'll all remember the bench set up at the front here, but one thing which we hadn't put on the last couple of times we were out, you'll see there's some velcro this side in the middle and then on the far side there. Now that is for this piece here, so that just manoeuvres on there like that. The velcro just grips on there, and there we go. So all that's giving you is just that little bit of head support at the back there. So obviously if the bench here is in the down position, which we'll just try and sort out for you. So if the bench is in the down position, this bit obviously also drops as well, but is up at the moment, so then that would leave the whole of it flat. And then at the top end there you've got that headrest now going across the back there, not too high to obstruct your vision from inside if you're at the helm, and that's the sort of complete effect of the sun pad at the front. And then obviously, as you know, we like the option of lifting these bits up and making them into the bench. But anyway, that's that last piece that you haven't actually seen yet. So the twin yams at the back there also have the Yamaha customer onboard protection. So basically it's an immobiliser, but it runs off the fob, and so you get, when you press the unlock button, you just get that dual beep there for an unlock, which means we can now get the engine started. So with the ignition on, the zip wakes, quick visual check of those, they're both in auto pitch and auto roll, you'll see there on the display. So they're on the auto function, which is where we want them. We'll switch on the bow thruster, side power bow thruster, that's a press on both of the buttons there. Quick check, we're running at a fraction over 50% fuel. And of course, if we bring that up on here, we can see, if we then press and hold on the tanks there, you can see we're just over 55% showing on both tanks. And then from an information point of view, just before we go out, I normally have a quick check of ties to see where we're at. So you can see we are just beyond high tide itself. High tide today was at 6.2 meters. We're dropping down to 1.6 at the next low tide, which is tells you there about 5:30. So that's obviously our 1.6 meters above chart datum. So when we come to do a bit of mooring up later on, then obviously that's one of those key bits of information. So in terms of the exit out of the marina here as well, which is quite shallow as you come out through the mouth here, then the fact that we're at high tide means that these green areas that you see, which at low tide are visible mud banks, as you can see there, 1.3 meters above, at low tide they're obviously going to be well covered, and certainly not an issue for us. So that's those quick checks. Fuel's good, oil's good, ignition's showing okay, engines are de-immobilised. We're ready to think about untying and getting on the move. And just before we untie everything, quick reference point up there, you've got the flag confirming that we've got a northerly wind blowing at the moment, which means it comes directly down from further up the marina there, straight the way down and on out to our intended exit route, which is out that way. So of course, as soon as we're untied and on the move, then the tendency will be for us to be blown across the other side of this of this seaway that gives access to the berths here, so that's obviously something immediately that once we're running and starting to move that we'll bear in mind on the move. So in the time that we've been messing about on the marina, we should have got some... Oh yeah, that's definitely very warm. As you can see there, for that 25 litres, doesn't take long at all. Probably only 15-20 minutes perhaps to come really up to temperature there. And finally, get ourselves unplugged from the shore power. The last job of the day. And incidentally, on that shore power point, it mentions it in the manual, but it's disconnect at the berth first before you disconnect at the boat. So in effect it's boat first and boat last. So when you're disconnecting and going out, then it's boat last, and when you're coming in you connect the boat first and then plug in on the shore once you're in. Apparently it's some sort of way to protect the electric circuitry there, but I'm no electrician, I'm just doing what they suggest. And then one of the last jobs is to get our springers undone. These are obviously springers that stay on the berth once we're out and about. We've got those additional black ropes on board. These are just set, the lengths of these are set to hold the boat. This one in particular, and the mid-cleat one here, those two are positioned lengthwise to make sure that we don't go anywhere back towards that the Plastimo fender there, so they keep us from sliding backwards. And then the extra fenders there just to protect the starboard side of the boat and hold us on. So we've got four springers in total, which just hold us on the berth nicely. Okay, let's get some power, single press on the engines, and away they go. And a quick check for the tails, make sure they're starting to run. Yep, it's getting going, and that one's running as well. So, ready to untie. Nicky's looking after us on there. We'll undo the gate so that young Nicky can get back in easily. So a slight bit of bow thrust to the port side. That's just moved us away there from the berth. Just change the line of the boat slightly, so then just a tiny blip of throttle, and then that's now already starting to move us forward. Just see that forward movement there. And then just as the back end is clearing the berth, we can then engage the reverse, and you can see then the boat is already starting to pivot round. You can give it a tiny bit, so we've now got one on tick over forward, one on tick over reverse, no steering input, and you can see the way the boat is just turning round completely. So I'll now put both engines into forward. Tail sailing crew's busy, starting to get boats fueled up, and no doubt they've got lots of requests from people who've got boats up there on the dry stacks to get them in for today and or for tomorrow's boating fun. Diesel and petrol at the berth there. And the fabulous Seahorse there, that's a Dale made boat here in the yards here. Absolutely beautiful boat that. All right. And Nicky's already headed out the front. The bench seat was calling her. The weather is just too good not to be up front. the lovely little village of Nayland there. Home for our marina, but also of course some lovely spots there to overlook the estuary from one of those many houses along the edge, and indeed further back with lovely views over the estuary here. A bit like the Mediterranean there, isn't it?
It's like the Med, it's so warm, I'm cracking too hot the front.
Fantastic. So the remnants of lunch done. We cheated. We got a ready roast chicken with some salad and a bit of rice that we cooked up. And we've lunched at Castle Beach Bay. A new stop for all you guys that follow us on film. Still in the Cleddau estuary, but a really nice little spot, as one or two others also agree with. In about 7 or 8 metres of water. Bit of a breeze, but anchor's holding, anchor alarm set. And all of 25 degrees today. Exit to the Milford Haven estuary there, off out towards Ireland and beyond. And if you're very sharp-eared, then you might just hear in the background some booms. That's the Castle MOD, Ministry of Defence land over in the distance there, Castle Martin Range, where there are some tanks clearly firing today, because practicing. Because there is a stretch of water all down there that they don't allow you to travel down when the tanks are firing. They send you about 2 miles out to sea or further, depending on what's firing. And lots of small arms fire as well, and the revving of engines, no doubt tanks, right up on the behind that skyline there, a bit further back, Castle Martin Range. And of course the remnants of lots of interesting buildings built into the cliffs. A couple of many interesting buildings along this stretch of coastline, which was obviously well defended. And Nikki is not cold, she's hiding from the sun because it is so bright.
It is very warm.
Incidentally, for those of you, and there are a few of you, who are waiting for delivery of your new boats, these things are pretty handy. Just a simple bit of elastic that holds your ropes on. They obviously, plastic versus metal isn't a great combination, so I've actually just put a bit of insulation tape around the chrome there, and then screwed the bracket onto that, and that then really holds it firm and doesn't allow it to move, or if it does, it's a tiny bit. But yeah, dead handy for storing ropes, those. Have a look out for them. Yes, and Nikki has gone for it. Fabulous clear water. I think it's come to that time for a bit of a swim.
And the warm weather has drawn Bob into the water as well, which is a rare sight. Definitely, yes. Yeah, it's not bad.
Of course, this is an absolute godsend. Dead handy for showering off once out of the sea, and just folds back in there and slides away in the hatch. One issue we did get with it, just as a point for those of you who've got these, is that when putting this back in, it introduced a slight kink in this tube further down, and so literally as we once we got it pulled back out again, you powered it on with a trigger there, and then after about half a second the water stopped. And so what we ended up having to do was just to keep turning it round a few times, get rid of the kink, and that sorted it. So if you do get water flow problems, then try and get the hose right out, perhaps turn it 360, 720 degrees, and that might solve your problem. It certainly did with us. So we were punting around the Milford Haven estuary last night. All of our fabulous mooring boys were busy, as you'd imagine, in this amazing weather. So as we were only a few miles away, 5 or 6, we came back to the marina and spent the night on the berth. So now it's about 7 in the morning, and another lovely sunrise from back over here. And the marina is just starting to show signs of movement. Unlike Nikki, who's somewhere in there, in the Queen's suite. Good chance today in the very nice warm water. Go down and clean off some of the weed, clear it off the gear legs, that tiny bit at the bottom there, and then the transducer has picked up a few barnacles that I found yesterday when I was in the water, so I'll also go down and knock those off today, clean that up too. But then after a swim round it yesterday, the water line and below, just below, all round the boat really, seems to be at the moment, touch wood, free of most weed. Good blast every now and again, keeps that clean. Forecast to be 25, might even hit 26 today. Surrounded by boats and a lovely sunset, less sunrise I should say. Perfect way to start the day. Talking of starting, sounds like somebody's off and on the move. Lovely Arvor, red and white Arvor fishing vessel. Beautiful boat. A few vehicles moving around. Up at the top. A few fish moving around underneath the berth here. Lovely fair line there. Lots of activity for the 2 fishing charter boats that are probably looking to head out at 7:30, 8 o'clock. And the water coming out of Neyland looking like a mill pond. Absolutely beautiful morning. Absolutely lovely day. Looking forward to more travels today, and definitely a fair bit more swimming. Wow, you might just be able to see up in the sky there. What a good day for that. So day 2. Just put a little bit of fuel in at Neyland and a lovely run out of the marina. And you know what that means? It means yum yum. First stop of the day, bacon sandwiches, bacon rolls. I think we might need a fair bit of that water today. It's brunch time.
So it's that time of day where it's time to get the dinghy out and put the Torpedo motor on, because we're going to be exploring some of the coves here in the Milford Haven estuary. Some of them are really, really pretty, and there's little beaches in some of them. Just round the corner there's a little beach which we'll go and have a little look at.
So, all done, and then a quick heave-ho off the side and into the water. And guess what I've remembered this time? Don't forget the battery locking key.
Well remembered.
There.
Done. Excellent.
Happy dinghying.
Happy dinghying.
There we go. Not quite the same as a Merry Fisher 895. May not float as well as a Merry Fisher 895 offshore. But I suspect, oh, and Nikki's already found her way in. Anybody would think she was looking forward to her visit today. So this is the A-class motorhome, 7.44 meters long. And looking forward to having a look around it. And they've also said we could pop out for a drive in it as well, which would be nice.
So we hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to seeing you again very shortly with some more boat reviews, and hopefully very soon we'll be able to present you an episode with us on our new motorhome.
Yes indeed guys, and so thanks very much for watching as always, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.